would you look at that? Let's back up a little bit. There. Door gap's achieved. I had to dolly all that down, bring it out. Now there's a weld seam somewhere in here, right there, going all the way across where the skin was put on down there, and there's fiberglass is over the weld, and then there's bullet holes. I remember. You'd have to go back to the original videos, but metal all the way around. Same on this. Metal all the way around. Good. Good door gaps. So now I'm going to start monkeying with the jambs. I started a little bit. I think might have been in an earlier video. But I'm starting to block all this out and all this out. Then I'll have to get in and I'll have to do where the chop was, and clean all that up. You can see where I hammered and dollied, and you can see the highlight of my weld where I had to build this portion of the door out a little bit. So, yeah. We're almost there, guys. Passenger side is near completion. So, clean all this up. Block all the jambs out. It's just such a pile of work. But once you get it all blocked out and surfacer on it and all that stuff, you'll get it where you want it, and then you just get the detail crap out of the way so you can do the easy stuff. Hello again. Fred Kynes, AKK. Just starting to tap and block on the edges there now. Get all that done. This turned out wonderful. That turned out wonderful. That turned out wonderful. I'm going to block, keep blocking all the way down because I just want to make sure those edges are perfect. But you remember, I got fiber fill here a little bit, probably not that thick, but at least a 1/16 over here so that I can make sure that tapers in well. Then I got to go to the bottom. Now I made all these bottoms. I put this bottom rail on. This is a 1x4, if you remember from several videos ago, but we can see that the gap runs about correct here, about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm probably going to use 1/4 of an inch on the bottom. And then she tapers up and then stays up. And so I need to bring that down. I've got this right where I want it. Everything is right where I want it. This needs, of course, a little more gingerbread because I ground this up. I'll get these all kind of dressed out, near the end. That's pretty simple stuff. But everything else lines up very, 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 very well. So now it's just a matter of getting all the edges to have metal. This is when I originally did the doors. I'm into a little bit of fiber fill on both sides. I've hit metal. These are the weld seams, though. I'm onto the weld seam across here. And so I know I can knock it down. I knocked it down pretty quickly right there. I just want to make sure I got a good solid foundation. I'm just starting to hit metal here, and of course here, this edge here. But you can see I'm not touching here, so I have to tap this guy just a little bit out. Just keep blocking and tapping until I get them all the way down. All right, guys, that's a reminder. Finish that edge, finish the gap. So when I walk in here and think, well, how am I supposed to, that's what I'm doing. All right, catch you later. All right, guys. Been working on this jam and sanding and just doing a little bit of fill. I'm going to keep those original holes there. I did weld in some time ago the door the arm that stops the door from the inside because of the hinge configuration that I have on. They stop on their own. Pulled the hinge out, cleared the hole out, and then just began blocking. This one turned out real good. I got a little bit of a low spot here with the filler, and I cut through and all over the place down here. So I stop. I stop when I start exposing metal. But there's a couple of places that are going to need some that Evercoat cream filler. Probably get into there. The corners could be radius just a little bit more. But anyway, almost done with that jam. It's taken down to 180, and then I did a fair amount of this jam. I just basically need to probably just a quick skim coat, and then block it down on both sides. Front has been blocked, but I just hit it with 180. I don't know what I'm going to do with these yet. I'm really thinking I'm putting rubber stops, kind of where they had from the factory. This was an area, one of these two was an area for, I think, the latch one in here, and then there was a guide to hold the door. But back then they were like a door latch instead of a dowel. So rear one I did right away. That one was already very clean, so probably just need to hit him with 180. And then the tops I formed, there's nothing with those really. Hit them with 180 just to scratch it, I suppose. But other than that, going pretty good. Got a little dust, but we are making progress. Okay, I got the top eyebrow welded, that middle section welded, and that bottom eyebrow welded on these sides. I have this and this remaining. So I'll get up there and get that after I clean these up. Alrighty then, guys, this is what I've gotten accomplished. This door, fixed that edge, had to take a little from the top, blend it all the way back, and then a little fiber reinforced to line it up with that end. And we got a really nice body line. Down here, everything lines up. I still have my piece of tape on there. Finish the edge and finish the gap. I got the edge, now I need to get the bottom gap. And so I moved over, and in the last video I finished off the entire inside of this jam. I finished off the center jam, B-pillar. Okay, all scratched with 180, everything's at 180, nice and smooth. I did not finish the inside of this door jam, but I did. I use the word finish loosely. What I mean is the fiber reinforced. I've got the edge down. I've exposed metal here and here and here and here and here and here. Okay, so I'm just getting that weld seam completed. And so now I've got all 3 jams done. I've got the exterior side done in the terms of fiber reinforced. Okay, finishes, getting it, blocking it, and wet sanding it, and fiber fill, or I mean surfacer type primer, high build primer, whatever you want to call it. So I think I'm at the phase now where I can go in. Oh, I did put a little, because I had some on my trowel. Might as well use it, you know, kind of a thing. So I have that to do. And the same thing, you know, just going around and getting them all on the interior side of this. So getting those all finished out. I'm very, very, very happy with how this turned out. This just looks stellar. And there's not a pile on there. There's exposed metal everywhere. But that fiber reinforced really brings a tough surface to it. But the seal's going to be sitting up in this corner, you know, over and over and over and over again. And so you want to have a nice, clean, stiff edge. I continue to test the seals. The seals are working. I am going to go to some form of a rubber block up here and down there just to keep the doors in perfect alignment when they close and keep them up against the latch. I've tested it several times. I can still click with my thumb. So, coming along, guys. Thanks. Right here now, what I've got accomplished today is not a whole hell of a lot, but I'm going to open both of these. So, I basically dollied this section out, this edge out, took out, you know, any of the low spots on the weld and ground it, and again, leftover mud from the other side. We know that we've already dollied the door jambs, and basically to dolly that, I used a piece of stainless steel bar stock. I think I showed you that bar stock in an earlier video. There it is. So I would just get that in there and dolly, dolly, dolly. Get it on this edge and dolly, dolly, dolly. You know, same thing. Okay? And then cleaned up all my welds on the inside and outside. Now on this side, I just made sure I had relief for the window channel. Of course, I'll get all the smoke off of there. And I just took this down flush. This is where the molding piece that goes around will come through these holes and screw to. So I'm not overly concerned about dressing that and making that look perfect. I mean, in the future, you know, when somebody buys this car and is driving it and takes this piece of trim off and sees that, I don't think they're going to get overly excited because they're going to know that's where the chop is. But on the outside, the common person sees that, and it needs to look right. Unless you're building a rat rod, then you want to show it. So anyway, took it all down and put fiber fill in. You can see like the dark spots. Those are low spots in the fiber fill, but that's ready for finish. You know, there's just a minor right there, but I cut it down. I dressed everything, even got in there with a flat edge and a piece of 80 grit and cleaned out that groove, cleaned out this groove, which is like 99% metal now, which is fine, good. It shows that I got her on there straight. So all that's done. Do the same thing to this, and again, take the doors off and do the back sides. Clean up the welds and the channels, make sure that the window channel can go in and the molding. Garnish molding can go on. So there we have it. Oh, the other thing is these edges here too, you know, where the window channel goes, this little edge I completely forgot, but I'll want to get in there and make sure that I get all that flush. This side I did flushed out with the window. I didn't do the radius on here yet. I need to do that radius. And again, then we'll come back and we'll clean everything up with a regular mud, you know, lightweight gold type mud. And when we come to blocking everything with 80 and up. But at this point, I'm trying to go down to 80 to get it to a point where that's the floor, that's the surface of the material. So it's a long, hard process, but you know what? We're making progress. guy gets a tendency to hyper focus. And what the good thing about this is, I guess I'll ramble for just a moment. The good thing about doing something like this on your own, when you're doing your project, is you go so far, because you spend this time on this, you go so far getting this just right. You know, if you give up, it's not going to be perfect. And if you do that on that, and on that, and on that, and on that, and all over the car, pretty soon the car's not where you wanted it to be. So taking it into this, the project is this passenger side door jambs and doors. And I'll be done with this project like I was when many moons ago, when I did this, blocked them out, established the floor, and walked away. They're done. They gave me the fundamental shape to work off of. These are going to give me the fundamental shape to finish off of. So it's a long journey, but taking it at one step at a time gets you to where you want to go, because you focus on those areas more so than anybody will ever focus on. And then when you're done, your doors shut like that, your gaps look like that, you don't have filler on the edges, you know, where it's going to fall off the first time you rub up against it. It's all metal, and you're just going in and dressing up the pieces, the areas that weld and physics cause, you know. So this is a car that had many of those in it. Bullet holes. That's not even half of them. There's a bunch laying flat up there. Bullet holes in it all over. Lot of work on this side. This was an old sign that somebody decided to use this as an old sign with a 22. You know, that's what it was. Peppered all the way down the side. So thanks, guys. Till the next one. All right, so we're looking at the driver's side right now. Excuse me, because I want to do a quick comparison. We see that this body line comes out, and then there's about an inch and a quarter before the hood beats. And we know that the hood's got to be custom made because I'm integrating a 1930. It's really a Chrysler. I did a whole bunch of research. This really is a Chrysler, but we'll call it a Dodge, because that's what I've been calling it the whole time. And there's a variety of time and research that went into finding that out. Well, I'm not going to get into that. But I'm marrying a 1933 front end and rear fenders into a 1930 Dodge. And the reason is I like the tip back, a little bit of a tip back on the grill, and the fenders are much nicer, and the front end is much nicer than that vertical 1930, in my opinion. And because I started only with this, I could do whatever I wanted with that. Back to the story. So this had a chrome strip that went around there. The hood's sitting in this area here. Okay, and this tapers a little faster than this, so that this is where the rubber, the seal, or the, you know, save the paint strip goes. But that ending right there, I'm not doing that stainless steel band. That's not going back on. I like that taper. I like that monochromatic look. So that bead will follow into the hood. Just like this 37, that bead will continue and go to 0. And the top piece will be one piece on the hood with 2 side panels. So I need to fill that gap. I don't want to announce the seam for the hood with a stainless steel band. And I've begun that process. Well, before we show you that, I'll just tell you what I did. So I made that profile, okay, on some 18 gauge, starting with a roll. I like that profile. That radius gave me these 2 edges. You know, and they were longer, and I trimmed them and cut them with the cutoff wheel. This thing is just rough cut right now. And then in the center of the vise, I slowly moved this and walked back and forth until I matched the profile on the side. Then I ground away all the paint and filler from this area. The filler is the recess for the trim was ground out, and there's a whole video on that. Anyway, and then welded that in. Now he's open on the side, so I got to make an eyebrow, right? And I will take that, this is a slight taper on this edge, and I will take that from there, from the high side of that taper, and taper back very slightly for the cap that goes on here, and weld that on. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Ground it back. The profile looks good because she goes from relatively flat, and you can see from the factory it starts to build out, and I continued building it out so that that profile then, as I'm going relatively straight down the hood, that profile becomes the bead along the hood. So that's what I'm working on. Jambs are sanded. Jambs are sanded. I showed you all that was all sanded already. So we're progressing. This is in good shape. The bottom gaps I got to address, but I'm trying to find a half round. I think I'm going to go with 1.25 inch half round. And you'll have to watch. I mean, this is going to be kind of a scientific experiment. But the door gaps do line up on the bottom. This tube here, which is a 1x4, I'll remind you. Okay, this is a 1x4 that I slowly formed around the profile of the body, but so, I knew some areas I would not get, excuse me, I would not get perfectly. So I will use the body. I will use the body to identify where I've got to remove material, right? Then we re-weld it on, and then I'm going to weld I keep calling it a quarter round, but a half round on here. And still dreaming about that. You can't make a good consistent half round like that. I mean, it's got to be run that whole length. So, and then once I get that on, you know, between where I'm at right here, and that, which establishes then my base for everything, I can begin finishing. So I may just jump over to the other side between the time I figure out what I'm going to do here and get all that side done. So until next time. All right, got the end cap on, dressed the end, cleaned up the grooves. It turned out really good. I just got to get in now with, you know, I got to finish it off, but it turned out really good. It's going to take a minimal amount of work and probably surfacer, but I'll comb everything and block everything out. Still playing with the doors. This side is basically done other than that half round piece that needs to be dressed out there. So at this point, I'm going to do some searching around for stuff, and then like that half round tube that I'll have to form, maybe start cutting that down there, and then jump on the other side. Yay. Well, I started sanding on the grill, and then I grabbed a fender, and wow, that rolled on gel coat. I mean, wow. I had a little bit of just starting to cut through right there. Again, this is painted, but there are absolutely zero pinholes. I did have, this was an imperfection in the fiberglass. I noted it when I was gel coating. Actually, I noted it long before that, but it's so far inside the fender, I'm just not that overly concerned about it. But man, it really really came together. So I didn't block that part out. It all has to be scratched again. Now this is just 180 grit taken across it. Straightened out all the edges. I got, a little bit of cut through here as I was getting this edge nice and straight. So it's gorgeous. It's perfect. It's going to work out very well. So happy with that. Of course, I got more to do, but we will get them. I started on the grill, and it just fatigued me. But I got the top. I think I pretty well got the top done. There were pinholes in the fiberglass that just filled up right on over. They were in there from, just from the original mold. I cut a little into there, but it blocked out completely. That was the side of the repair. And then I got to finish this apron and that. It's just a lot of hand sanding. Get all around the bead. Got this bead all trimmed, and I gel coated the inside edges of it. So I got that to do yet. And of course I didn't block that side out yet either. But turning out, I couldn't be more impressed. So very happy with it. Again, I've done fiberglass. Not a lot of experience with gel coat. 3 layers I wound up putting on. Final layer was the wax coat, wax additive. And it cured out beautiful. Sands beautiful. Okay, and then there's the front fenders. This is the one that's not complete. Just to show you, that's just buildup of gel coat. The groove there. I cut half of the groove off on this side, so you got a shadow. There was another one over here. Remember, I transferred, this is the original piece, or somewhere in here was the original piece, and I transferred that groove up into this. And then all of the studs, okay, and that was all rolled on. You can see there's some texture and stuff on there. That's from rolling. And then I just finished blocking this guy out. And you can see wow, that is just beautiful. I got a couple of cut throughs, big deal on the glass. This turned out wonderful. Blocked that out. Everything down where I got dust everywhere though. I just blew it off. But this relief is right where the bolts go through. Good coverage. Everything just blended out. Just beautiful. So very, very, very happy with it. The 1933 Dodge Plymouth fenders on a 1931 Chrysler. Dodge Chrysler. So we are making progress, folks.